Hello guys, Visage here. For today we're gonna talk about the top 5 units in the Ogre Kingdom roster, and specifically in Domination in multiplayer mode. And so first of all, I'm gonna explain how I rank these guys. There are 3 factors that determine the placement of these units at the top of the chart. The first one is that the value that the unit can accrue versus the cost of the unit. So if the unit is cheap and can get a lot of value in damage, that means that unit is good. But that's not all. The second part of the ranking system is that how many matchups the unit is good at. So if you have a unit that you can use in most of the game, that means that unit is can be useful. It can accrue a decent amount of value in a lot of matchups. So that's the second one. And for the third one, and this one is only domination mode, is that how fast they can capture points in the domination mode. Yeah, I mean the objectives that you have, the 3 objectives in the domination maps, how fast that they can capture it and hold it. So just some more points that I have to clear out. There are a lot of units that we're not going to talk about in this video. That doesn't mean they're bad. They might be too close to the top 5 position, but for some reason they might not be getting into it. But yeah, that's the first one. The placements might surprise you a bit, so I'm really curious about knowing your opinions about my ranking, and if I missed anything, any unit that you guys get a decent value out of. So yeah, I would love to know that. So before we start, I'm just gonna talk about 2 broken units here that are not gonna be on top 5. You guys know them, you guys love them. The strongest unit in the Ogre Kingdoms are the Gorgers, bar none. These guys have a really high HP, really high weapon strength, and decent weapon strength. They're pretty cheap for what they can do. I've been able to get a lot of value out of them, and yeah, they're just broken, so we're not gonna talk about them. We're not gonna put them in the ranking table because yeah, they're for sure are gonna get some changes or nerfs in the future patch. The second unit is the Iron Blaster. So you guys have probably seen this unit in the domination mode, how oppressive it can be, killing your lord by shooting it 2 or 3 times. They can be pretty accurate. I have seen some problem with them, and yeah, these guys need a fix as well. They're not as bad as Gorgers, in my opinion. I have been able to shut them down and fight them, but Gorgers always get a lot of value, and yeah, they just devastate your army, and they're good against infantry and large. So my opinion is both of these units need more cost. I think the Gorgers need to be more expensive and have less HP and melee defense. That's one way to fix them. The Iron Blaster, I think, needs to be more expensive and maybe reduce the range a bit so you can get shot at. This unit is just insane, shooting you across the map and killing your lord. So yeah, these 2 are the broken units, so these guys are not gonna take any place on the table here. So let's just talk about the top 5 units in the Ogre Kingdom roster. Number 5, the Iron Gods. These guys have really decent HP, decent armor, okay melee stats, and they're pretty good pick. I have been able to get a lot of value off of them in most matchups, and because most of the Ogre Kingdom rosters have low armor, your opponent can be surprised by these guys, and as I said, these guys can just wipe through units pretty easily, and I just have to say love them, and I would love to see how would they perform after the release of the Mortal Empires. For number 4, we have the Ogre Bulls. These guys are pretty essential in the Ogre Kingdom roster, in my opinion, and the main reason why is that they're cheap. They have decent amount of number in the unit. I think they have 22, 20 or 24, I'm not sure. The reason that these guys are really good is that they're cheap. They can get their value back pretty easily, and yeah, I have to say, love them. I'll bring them in most of the games. I think I don't remember if there's any game that I don't bring 4 of these guys. I sometimes bring the shielded variant, but I think I always bring full stack of these ogre bulls. As I said, they're just really good. They're cheap. They have ogre charge, which means they're gonna be decent against anti-large units and so on. So yeah, number 4, ogre bulls. For our number 3 on the ranking, we have the man-eaters with pistol. These guys were the first units that caught my eye in the roster. I wanted to use them before any other unit, and I have to say they didn't disappoint. They're really strong, and most of their strength is that they have really strong range attack, and beside that they have really good melee stats, so it's not gonna be easy to shut them down. I usually keep some support for them in the back. Some nobler hunters are usually great when your opponent is trying to charge them, tries to go for them, but yeah, these guys are gonna live for a long time. Another thing about them is that they have a really high HP. Unlike other range units like lead belchers, these guys have a lot of HP. They can survive for long, and yeah, they're just gonna be crazy good in most matchups. And one other thing about them is that they can accrue more than twice their cost, which is insane. As I said, love these guys, and I usually bring 2 of them in most matchups. For second place, we have the Noblars. I'm not sure if this is a surprise or not, but these guys have a lot of numbers in their units, and they're really important in domination. First of all, they can capture objectives really fast because of their numbers, and they're on foot. And as I said, if Ogre Kingdoms didn't have these units in their roster, I think they would have been a weaker faction for sure in the domination and multiplayer. You need something to saturate your own army. You need something to bog down other units while your ogres are doing the damage. And for the, as I said, for the capturing of the objectives, these guys are going to be really essential. So yeah, really great unit. For our number 1 spot, we have the Saber Tusk pack. These fast moving large units are just insane. They have really high weapon strength, they're pretty fast, and pretty cheap. The rampage does hamper them a bit, but overall I think they're really necessary in the Ogre Kingdom roster. You need something fast to capture other units, hold them in place, and as I said, they're large, so they can hold back any other large units that might be going for your back lines. These guys can hold them, and then the man-eaters with pistols can shoot them. But yeah, I know I put these units in order, but I have to say these guys are top 5 for sure. Some of them in some matchups, in some maps, might have different ranking on the top 5, but in the most situations, yeah, they're just the best, bar none. As I said, I'm not talking about the Gorgers and Iron Blaster. Those two units are broken. They can accrue insane amount of value because they're too cheap, and yeah, they're just not fun. But overall, that was it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you guys consider leaving a like and subscribing. And as I said, I would really love to know your opinion about this format of the video. Do you like ranking videos? I'm gonna do one for other factions as well. I'm probably gonna do 5 worst units in every faction as well after I'm finished with the top 5. But yeah, tell me how you feel about this, if you agree or not. What's your top 5? And yeah, that's it. Catch you all later. Bye.